the North Bay.
But what happened is actually the 7th Fleet, which was in Vietnam, it had been ordered to move.
Yes, it was in the Straits of Malacca.
For that reason, Sagat Singh came.
Sagat Singh had no business to come. He
I don't know, but he came and told us.
We were not worried because if they are in the Straits of Malacca, it will take them another 5 or 6 days.
4 or 5 days.
To move up. And the Americans are not so stupid to intervene physically. So it was just a threat. We knew it was a threat. It was just to frighten us. So we were not worried.
We didn't panic. But he said, this may happen, so we should... What he wanted is, probably, I realize now, that he wanted that we move a bit faster. And from that point of view, he was right.
But okay. But the point was, we had no qualms. We knew the Americans were not intervene.
There was also the presence of Russian armada, mind you.
Let me, not only Russian, what you may not also be aware, after the Indo-Soviet Friendship Treaty, the Russians moved 40 divisions to the Xinjiang border and 7 to the Manchurian border.
Right.
So the question of the Chinese intervening did not exist.
The Russians
The Russians did help us a lot.
Yeah,
they vetoed, they did all sorts of things. Yes. We are very grateful to the Russians for their help.
Without that, it would have been very complicated.
We had a lot of problems with Nixon and Kissinger, and they're leaning towards Pakistan.
Because after that, they had to move to China.
I will come to Colonel Chatterjee. কখন বুঝতে পারলেন যে স্বাধীন হবই?
অ্যাকচুয়ালি যেটা বুঝতে পারার ব্যাপারটা যখনই আমরা জয়েন করলাম, আমি যখন জয়েন করলাম জ্যাকপট আর্লি মে 1971, তখন থেকে যে প্রিপারেশনগুলো চলছে এবং তারপরে ওভার দ্য মান্থস যেটা সিচুয়েশনটা ডেভেলপ করছিল, আমাদের কোনো ডাউট ছিল না, কারণ আমি অ্যাটেন্ড করতাম ব্রিফিং every day, every morning. We used to have a briefing in the ops room, and I was the junior most officer to join this briefing. And we could make out that this thing, we are going whole hog. There is no question, no chances being taken. And we are organized, and once the war officially starts, we are going to win it. And also, there is another point. We found during that period that two things Pak troops were lacking. It was very obvious. One is battlefield leadership, and two, lack of motivation.
Yeah.
That's the very important thing in a battlefield, and especially in this kind of country where you are in almost a foreign land. To the Pakistanis, Bangladesh was a foreign land.
I think we are nearing the end, but no matter how in detail we discuss the military side, one fact remains, and probably you don't know many touching stories of the war. I give you one simple story so that you understand how the people of our country, Bangladesh, got emotionally involved and they are going to sacrifice their lives. When we crossed Kumir area on the 13th, so they had broken a bridge, Pakistan demolished a bridge and taken a strong defense across. It was a fortified defense with railway sleepers and rails on top.
Yeah, that's a railway.
Yes, and we attacked. I got little injury in that bullet touched my feet. Now, then we couldn't move the vehicles forward because the banks of the canal was very steep, so these had to be leveled so that Indian convoy and other things can move. Thousands of women from nearby villages came forward. One old lady came and put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Boy, why are you wasting time here? You move on. We'll fill this up. Your vehicles will go, your tanks will go." They started bringing stones from the mountain nearby. And then she said, "Go. I give you an order. Go. We will fill it up in few hours. If we cannot get enough stones and fill up, we will lie down. We'll allow the tanks to go over us." Now, imagine the spirit of sacrifice.
Yes, yes.
Now, it is this spirit that helps not only Mukti Bahini, but also your forces.
Positive.
Positive. Can I say something?
Yes.
I saw this war from the very beginning, from April to 16th of December, to the surrender, the only public surrender on the race course. I made him surrender in front of the people of Dhaka to shame him, and in a way I got apprehensive because the people wanted to lynch him, and we with difficulty got him out from there. I just want to say that victory in 1971, the people of Bangladesh, as a people, must get credit. They took part and they resisted.
Yes.
That's the first point I want to make. It's the people of Bangladesh who resisted. Then there was the Mukti and the EB battalions. They played a stellar part. They played a pivotal role. And then there was the Indian Army. It was a joint operation between all of us. All worked hard to get this, defeat the Pakistan Army and to get the freedom of Bangladesh. They shall not forget the people of Bangladesh who rose up, the Mukti, the East Bengal and the Indian Army. We all worked together and we succeeded, and credit should go to all of them.
Now you also, General, and let me say about Chittagong sector, actually again a very interesting incident, because I was the sector commander and two of your brigadiers were with me. On the 16th at 4:30, when Niazi is just signing the surrender instrument, we didn't know this because in the field we were not getting the message in time. We had sent 2 battalions, Indian battalions, probably the 2nd Rajput and one Mahar or Dogra, I don't remember, through the hills, and I sent one of my battalion, and about 1,000 civilians who carry water, firewood, so that they could cook inside the hills, to go behind the enemy lines and cut them off between Chittagong and Bhattiari, where they had taken position. One boy, a 14-year-old boy, I tell this story because this tells us how the war was fought by the government. A young boy of 13, his village was liberated, and I said, go and meet your parents. He said, no sir, after Chittagong is liberated, I'll go. Now he went with a smaller force by the seaside to launch a diversionary attack under one of my subedars, warrant officer. At 4:30, a shell landed on that area. We didn't know. We knew that something will happen. At 4:45, across the bridge, it was demolished by the Pakistanis, we see a white flag. Now it's winter, the sun sets early. Then we stopped firing. From that side, an officer and few others come forward to the bridge end, and myself, Brigadier Sandhu and Anand Sharif, we move forward. And they said, we have received orders to surrender. And so we said, okay, you go back to the cantonment. Tomorrow we'll take the official surrender ceremony, because there are a lot of formalities. At that time I get the message that at 4:40, when the shells landed, the 2 of my soldiers, by that time the surrender had taken place, 2 of my soldiers, and that young boy who said, I will not go home to see my parents, he also died in that. Now, this is very unique. And let me say, on 17th we entered. From your point of view, you are absolutely professional soldiers. You did it excellently from your point of view. But we had to keep in mind other things also.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The military side, also the political dimension. And let me finish my statement so that for posterity. I carried a small packet throughout the war in my jeep. So on 17th morning, I crossed that canal in Bhattiari, went to Chittagong Circuit House. I had sent a battalion earlier, and there the Pakistani flag was still being hoisted. It was flying there. Thousands of people had come out, and for the first time since the crackdown by Pakistanis, women